Good evening. Hello,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Barry.
Hello, Mr. Mike.
And once again, welcome to Of Course It Makes Sense.
Of course it makes sense.
Mr. Barry,
Yes, sir.
when you were a small boy,
Mhm.
not like you're an armadillo now or anything,
No.
but,
I was,
okay, were you raised on the farm?
no, I wasn't.
You weren't raised on the farm?
No.
So you're a city boy,
Pretty much.
pretty much?
Yeah.
Okay, what was your first job?
Paper boy, I guess.
Paper boy? But
Yeah.
how old were you?
Ooh, let me see. Probably about 11, maybe?
Yeah, okay.
10 or 11.
And the reason I ask, a topic that was suggested to us was work ethic. And myself, like I was raised on a farm, and where it wasn't like a massive farm, my stepdad farmed by himself, and we had like a little bit of livestock when I was a young boy, and he had a few quarters, like a section, 2 sections I think, of land. But growing up on the farm, there was always chores. There was always work to do.
Yeah.
And that's something that as an adult, I've always taken very seriously. This has been like a hotly contested topic in my life about work, about providing. And for me, it's a point of pride. Like I've never shied away from a hard day's work. I take pride in that. And the industry that I work in, like we get a lot of young guys, and I'm not saying that I want to put them all in the same boat, but a lot of these guys really have no clue what it means to put in a hard day's labor.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. I'm retired now, but I'm glad I'm retired because we were getting a lot of younger guys in their early 20s, and they had attitude.
Yeah.
You know, and they'd come, and you couldn't tell them anything. You know, you couldn't tell them. You'd go and try to help them, or most of the time they would just be standing there doing nothing and talking to each other instead of doing the work that they were supposed to, that they'd been assigned to do. So, I mean, a lot of them didn't stay very long.
Yeah. But going back,
Because they came in with an attitude, if they have an open mind, I don't have a problem with it. I'll help anybody, as long as they, they're willing to learn. If they show the interest, they're willing to learn it. But most of these guys that were there, that we were dealing with, they couldn't have cared less. They just couldn't have cared less. And the wages were a lot better than anywhere else, for starting wages. But there's no loyalty, I mean, people nowadays, I don't know if they have loyalty to their jobs or not, but when I was going to work, you had a loyalty to your employer, and I stayed 32 years in my job, 32 years, and then I retired early.
yeah. But going back to like your first job as a paper boy,
Yeah.
like your incentive, you couldn't have made a lot of money.
No, well, at that time it was,
Yeah, well, okay.
for an 11-year-old.
Well, and again too, like
Yeah.
age is important here, but your incentive then, like, were you doing it early in the morning or in the afternoon?
No, after school.
It was after school?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you felt proud about it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Because you were working, you were earning.
Yeah.
And
Well, I had my route. It was one of the biggest in the city at that time. Over 100 papers to deliver. Took up, I won't say what blocks they were, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 7, 8 blocks, and then there was a campground that was involved as well in the summertime. So there was, it kept me busy, and I didn't do it. I had my half. I would do half of the route, and I had a helper who did the other half of the route.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I would.
So you franchised?
Well, I paid him. What was it? $5 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
to be my helper.
But
And
like,
I made 20.
yeah.
But that's how it should be.
Yeah. But I'm going back to like I remember my first job not working for working on our farm or even working for our neighbors, which I did quite often. My first job when I was 16 turning 17, I was washing dishes. And I lived on the army base, and I worked 6 days a week. I got 1 day off a week. And I don't know, it just, being a kid and, like, I was living on the base, so I wasn't at home. And so it was probably like the first time I experienced like, well, it was literally, it was the first time I experienced living on my own.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying rent or like groceries or bills or anything like that, but I wasn't at home, and it was just, for me, it was like probably one of the most exciting times in my life.
Well, you're responsible for yourself.
I wasn't that responsible, but
Yeah.
I made it out.
Yeah.
2 summers I made it out of there.
Yeah.
But it was just like, it was something that you did, it was just like, I don't know, it's like, for me, it's always been a certain amount of pride that I took with putting in a hard day's work.
Yep, I get
And
it.
at the end of the day, you know that you accomplished something. And even to this day, like, I do the same thing, like, I've been told that and I know this is a compliment, I work like a German. And it's like, because like, I've been told that I'm very meticulous, and I have a set pattern, and I have a set way of doing things.
Yeah, I do too.
But it's just that, the effort that you put in, and you see the results of a good effort put in.
Yeah, and you do your best. In fact, you do more than your best. You keep trying to improve on every time you do something.
Well, it's like I've always said, like, I always try to do a little bit more so that I've got a little bit less to do the next day, but it never works.
Well, you know, what we did, and when I was working, the guys on my shift, we would always try to leave. When we left, the place was in better shape than when we came in.
I use the exact same
You know,
sentiment.
leave it better for the next guy. The
Mhm.
more you can do for the next guy,
Yeah.
the better off he'll appreciate you, and maybe he'll pass that on to the next guy,
And
and whatever, you know.
yeah, like, I always tell the guys, the young guys that I work with, whatever area you're working in, leave it cleaner than when you got there.
Yeah, do that, and everybody, you know, and then you know, like I said, they'll reciprocate it.
Yeah.
Maybe not right away,
Yeah.
but
like,
eventually
Yeah.
they will.
I worked in restaurants for many years, and the one adage that I've always taken, and I still use it to this day, even though we're using heavy equipment, I always tell the guys, it's the restaurant mentality of, you never walk into the kitchen with empty hands, you never come out of the kitchen with empty hands. If you're always doing something, you're making, like, well, one of my mottos at work is, I will do what I can to make your day go by smoother.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
try.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
there's anything I can do to help, just ask.
You're hired.
Yeah. What do you pay?
$5 every 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness, I'm delivering papers.
You gotta start somewhere.
I did that too. I did deliver papers.
Did you?
Yeah, as a what do they call it now? A side hustle.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
did it as a side hustle when I was in my 30s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can still do that now, I guess. I don't know, they deliver them in the morning now, though, I think. eh?
Flyers and stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know. Well,
Well,
the
I
Star
don't know.
Phoenix is really, really thin now.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's.
Oh, I think when I was going, we'd get, a small one would be like 18 pages
Mhm.
in the Star Phoenix, but Saturday was the big one. That was 40 pages or so, 40 to 50 pages in it. Probably around 40, I guess. But on average, I guess it would be anywhere between 28 and 34 pages or so
Yeah.
for an average daily paper at that time. And we had these canvas bags, a big bag in the front and one on the back.
Yeah.
And I think I had like 54 papers, that, you know, on both sides.
Mhm.
And my partner, my
Employee?
my helper had, I think he had about 50 as well on his side. So we had over 100 to do. And then in the summertime, when the campsite, when it opened up, then there would always be, because if it was on his side of the thing, he would walk through there because we'd always take extra papers.
Mhm.
So he'd walk through there and sell extra papers as well. And after a while, the office just said, just leave them over here, we can sell them here for you. So
Yeah.
that's what we did.
But with you said you retired, and you retired early.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the example you set for your boys, has it carried on?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Okay.
No. I don't know where I went wrong.
Yeah.
I'm still, to this day, I'm trying to get them to do things properly, you know, when I see, but they have their own ways of doing it, they have their own time.
Yeah, that's true.
To me, when I get up in the morning, I already got things on my mind that, well, I gotta do this, and then I'm gonna do that, then I got this, and then I'm gonna do that, then I can do this,
Yeah.
you know?
So being retired, you're still busy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I have lots to do. In fact, I kind of think, like, how did I ever find the time to do any of the stuff that I'm doing now
Yeah.
when I was working? I just don't know.
Mm-hmm. But like, what I think the question I was asking was that, like, your boys, like, you know that you've given them a foothold.
I've tried, yeah, I've tried. But like I said, it always gets down to people are different.
And I know
The world is
it's
different.
a different time that, like,
And,
well, okay, you're
but you can still, but when it comes to ethics,
mm-hmm.
those should never change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ethics should always be there. You should be carrying that with you as long as you live.
And passing it on.
And passing it on, yeah.
And
And you pass it on to your, you know, to your family.
mm-hmm.
And hopefully they accept it and they pass it on to their family.
Well, and
So it continues on. It's your legacy, so to speak.
it's the exact word I was just thinking of, because I remember, like, I'm not gonna. Well, okay, well, I'll just say the name. I went to a Promise Keepers function years ago,
Mhm.
and that was the word that they used as their theme for the weekend.
Oh.
Legacy, like, what are you leaving behind? And and again, like, they were promoting, like leaving a godly legacy for your family and for your children and for your children's children. But that entails and that encapsulates a whole bunch of things. And like, it's your faith, your love for your family, your faith in your Savior, and, you know, like, providing, you know, like,
Mhm.
and it's like, and I know, like, in the Bible, God commissioned man to provide.
Yeah.
You go back to very shortly after the fall. Men are meant to work, and it's been ordained by God.
Yes,
That is our charge in life.
yes, yeah,
And if you're gonna do it well.
absolutely. Don't do half the job.
Yeah.
You know, nobody should. I mean, I hate leaving something unfinished.
Yeah. Well, like
I
said,
just hate doing that. I have to finish it and then move on to the next.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess there was doing this multitasking. It was a big thing in the 70s, I guess. And, oh, you have to be multitasking. And I said, no, you don't. Just as long as you're doing your job properly, you don't have to be doing 3 different jobs at once, because now you're dividing your attention
Mm-hmm.
and you're not doing half the job that you would be doing if you were focusing on one particular job
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. Now, there may be times when you do have to multitask and you can't get away from it, but try. I always went, okay, no, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that, then I'm going to do this. And when I was finished that, I knew I didn't have to go back, because I had done it right. I'd done it properly, and I knew I didn't have to go back to make sure that it was okay, because I knew I had done my best.
Yeah.
Each one along the line. I still do that to this very day.
So it's
No matter what it is, if it's doing the dishes, or if it's, you know, doing the laundry, or whatever it might be for things around the house,
Yeah.
or if you wash your car or whatever, you make sure, you know.
So the
You
least
don't
you
just-
can do is set an example for the person coming behind you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and as I said, leave it in better shape than when you found it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how you do it.
All right. Well, I think we've taken up a lot of time tonight.
Have we?
No, probably about 12 minutes, I think.
I'm not even tired.
It's not even close to your bedtime.
No?
No. Well, you've got about 45 minutes. Anyways,
Okay.
I think what we're
I'll
gonna
have
do
to
is
run home.
we'll
When I
cut it
get
short
tired.
for tonight, because again, I know if you and I get talking, we could go for hours, but maybe that'll come up in the future.
We could have a movie.
Could be
Yeah, like,
a one-set movie, a one-take movie.
wow, what was I thinking of now? It was, those 2 guys.
Oh, Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Bob and Doug McKenzie. There you go.
The
Eh?
Great White North.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kulu, 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 Kulu.
you know, something like that, yeah.
Well,
Bob and
and
Doug
again,
McKenzie.
remember what you said
I'm
about...
Bob.
Yeah,
And you're,
remember what you said about getting off topic?
Yeah, we did.
We did a great job just now.
That's,
Anyways, thanks for joining us again tonight for another episode of Course It Makes Sense. I'm Mike.
I'm Barry.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.